Barry's back for round two. And so let's see how he does on this one. Ready, Alicia?
I'm ready. All right, Sam, you ready?
I hope so.
All right. So the question from Barry from El Cajon is, what bolt-action rifle developed in the 1990s by a Norwegian designer was adopted by multiple countries and is renowned for its strong action and 5-round clip-loaded internal magazine, but is often confused with a similar rifle designed by a German counterpart?
There you go. Did you catch all that?
Barry from El Cajon, thanks for writing in again. I'm glad we didn't scare you off. It was what Norwegian rifle developed in the 1990s has a reputation for
1890s.
1890s. And is often confused with what?
With a similar rifle designed by a German counterpart.
Norwegian rifle, 1890s, clip-fed, internal magazine. Did he say the capacity?
No capacity is mentioned.
5-round clip-loaded internal magazine.
You're right. Thank you.
5-round clip-loaded internal magazine.
So
developed
bolt
by
action.
Norwegian.
So let me just hit the highlights. Bolt action, 1890s, Norwegian, adopted by multiple countries. 5-round clip-loaded internal magazine, and often confused with a similar rifle designed by a German counterpart.
Often confused with a similar rifle developed by a German counterpart. Now that part's throwing me off because I'm curious as to what the German counterpart is. The implication there, maybe I'm reading too much into the exact verbiage, but the implication seems to be that the rifles were similar.
They look
the
similar.
only Norwegian bolt-action rifle of significant renown, of which I'm aware, that's not to say it's the only one, it's the only one that I know much of anything about, is the Krag Jørgensen. And the multiple countries that adopted it militarily would be Norway, Denmark, and the United States. Norway and Denmark had that. Well, I don't know about Denmark for sure, but at least Norway had theirs in 6.5 Swede, whereas Sweden had Mausers, M96 Mausers in the same chambering.
Okay, but can you spell
that might
Krag
be the
Jørgensen?
source of the confusion. What's that?
Okay, but can you spell Krag Jørgensen?
Ooh, with or without diacritics?
That's actually was going to be my next my next question.
Define diacritics.
Yeah. Wasn't diacritics?
Yes.
That was that book in the 70s that everybody was reading about. It's like a self-help book, diacritics, right? Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I could tell you what the book is actually called, but I'm worried about getting sued for making any statement about it, given that much of your listening audience does live in Southern California.
All right. That's a good point.
Right.
Okay, you're right.
Correct.
The Krag Jørgensen, which is KARG hyphen J.
KRAG.
What is it?
KRAG.
KRAG
Yeah,
hyphen.
Krag, not Clark.
All right. Jørgensen, which is J, something that looks like an O, RGENSEN. You want to read the?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
go
yeah,
for it.
it is less familiar to casual enthusiasts compared to other bolt-action rifles like the Mauser, which it is often confused with due to their concurrent use in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, specifically the M1893 Spanish Mauser.
Awesome job. You nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, Barry. You get it's a good question.
Wah, wah, wah.
You didn't stump him, but it was still you've redeemed yourself, Barry. So thank you so much for sending that in.
Yeah,
You'll get a hat
that's
or
a fun
shirt.
question. The Krag is a really neat rifle. One interesting aspect from my perspective as someone who enjoys historical research is that it was really only adopted by 3 companies. So were it not the standard U.S. Army long arm for a period of about 7 years, it would be this totally obscure off-the-wall thing that no one had ever heard of, because the only other 2 militaries that used it were the Norwegians and the Danish. But I've handled one. I haven't had a chance to fire one, unfortunately. I'd love to. One of my unicorn guns that, if I had all the money in the world and all the resources, I would track one down, is a Norwegian Krag in 6.5, because I hear it's a very smooth shooting cartridge. But just handling one when I was doing some other research in a weapons vault, just casual things I do for work. I was really impressed at how smooth the action is. And that's not something that really matters for a military rifle. But I immediately understood, just feeling the balance of it and feeling, working the bolt, working the controls. I immediately understood why it has such a nice reputation as a sporting rifle after they were withdrawn from U.S. military service. They were apparently popular for some decades as hunting and target shooting rifles on the civilian market as surplus, basically Bubba examples.
Bubba examples?
Yeah, it seems, I know it has some mechanical issues for a military rifle of the time, but it seemed very well made, and again, the action was impressively smooth. I mean, it like you compare it to a Savage Axis or like a Ruger American or something. The American rifles are way rougher.
Well, there you go. All right. The Krag or Krag? Say it again. What's the name of it?
Well, I would pronounce it Krag Jørgensen, but then again, I'm an American, so I don't know.
That's the right answer.
Like that disclaimer.
All right, great job. That is our Stump the Nephew. Do you have time to hang out with us and talk? Hey, thanks for watching Gun Owners Radio. I hope you loved that clip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media. And check out our website at gunownersradio.com.